What is up, guys? This is All Day Day 1 on the PS4, giving you a build breakdown for Jean Grey. She's probably one of my most favorite characters. She's not one of the strongest, but definitely one of my most favorite to play as. I don't have her super geared up, but you know, it's whatever. So let's check her out. Let's go to her traits first. Her main two attributes are energy and intelligence. 15% crit hit damage is what she gets automatically. Phoenix Reborn, you're able... Oh, wait a minute. Let me see if that's different. I just want to see if the traits are different. Okay, yeah, so Phoenix Reborn is still the same regardless. So you get health, you get health gained, 210 health per second. This effect is tripled for 4 seconds when you fall below 35% of your max health once every 10 seconds. So that's really nice to have. Defense rating 20%, deflect rating 20%. So they both give you an automatic 600 in those. So in your powers, no. First things first, make sure you go to your talents and activate Unleash the Phoenix. That's the first thing you want to do, level 1. Because you'll get all these. So, Flaming Debris, you want to have that. Phoenix Charge, you want to have that on L2 Circle or wherever else you would prefer your dashing abilities on. Flaming Maelstrom, I put that on the just square itself, not L2 square, just square. Pyrokinetic Barrier is on Circle. Telekinetic Throw is on Triangle. Debris Storm is on L2 square. Crushing Telekinesis is on L2X. Dark Phoenix is on L2 triangle. And that's it. So, what Dark Phoenix is, so the thing is, there's 3 abilities that I would consider as your signature, which is L2 square, L2 triangle, and L2X. Dark Phoenix turns you, well, obviously the ability Dark Phoenix turns you into Dark Phoenix. Invoke the unmatched destructive power of the Dark Phoenix. You deal 3629 twice and damage twice per second. Buff effect is you gain 15% increase in damage, 100% spirit cost reduction, so nothing costs any spirit. Healing from all sources, including the Dark Phoenix's damage over time, AoE Dark Phoenix damage over time. Gives you 15% healing. You're immune to all crowd control effects, and the duration lasts for 10 seconds long. So that's a really good ability to have. Pyrokinetic Barrier, projected burst of telekinetic energy that knocks back nearby enemies and create a telekinetic barrier that absorbs incoming attacks. So damage, you get 14,618 to 21,927 damage. Crit hit chance is increased by 100% only for this ability, nothing else. Weaken your enemies, they gain a negative 10% damage dealt, so they deal 10% less damage. Their weakened duration lasts for 10 seconds long. Damage absorption is only 1,873%, so it's 10% of your max health that it absorbs. Spirit cost 14.4, 5-second cooldown. Flaming Maelstrom. Use your immense powers to ignite the very air around your enemies in a display of cosmic fury. Damage 2143 twice per second, 50% movement speed reduction, 10-second duration. You can drop it on 2 different areas. It's a nice flaming AoE ability. So, Crushing Telekinesis is your signature move. In a terrifying display of telekinetic ability, lift up large chunks of the surrounding terrain, then hurl them to the ground with crushing force. So it also lifts up enemies in the air, like kind of the red barred enemies, the red named enemies, lifts them up. I think it even does that to blues and yellows. I know it doesn't do that to like the Hulkbusters and mechs, but yeah, it does 13,382 damage to 20,073 damage per hit, and it does 5 hits on each enemy around you. So it's 5, 5, and 5, whatever. Debris storm. You calmly levitate in the eye of a hurricane of debris. As you move, anything in your path quickly succumbs to the hail of stone. Damage, you do 32,655 damage per twice per second. You gain 60% damage resistance while channeling, and it's a 3.5 second duration, 15-second cooldown. So these 3 abilities are really great to have active. So what I normally do is I activate Dark Phoenix first, then Crushing Telekinesis, and then Debris Storm, because while after you have this one active, you'll still have Dark Phoenix active, and then activate Debris Storm, you'll have both of those active, doing a ton more damage, and they'll end about the same time too. So under your talents, obviously you want Unleash the Phoenix. It gives you 4% damage reduction, 350 health on hit, and 10% damage to all fire damage. This is good and this is good too, but you know, Unleash the Phoenix I feel like is obviously the best choice to have. Friends of the first class, apply Strengthen to allies while you are in combat. Telepathic illusions deal damage to nearby. You don't need to worry about telepathic illusion though, because you're not going to be using that. You get a plus 10% damage buff and plus 10% crit hit rating damage buff whenever Strengthen is active. I think I did use this before. This is also Psionic Barrier is a good one to have, but I think Friends of the First Class is a better choice, better passive choice. Heart of the Team, Phoenix Force 25%. Phoenix Force generation rate is increased by 25%. Dark Phoenix applies rapid healing to all allies. Buff effect, rapid healing. Health gain 20% of max health. So whenever you're in Phoenix Force or whatever, whenever you use your Phoenix ability, all your allies gain 20% max health regen whatever per second, and so do you. Decays while out of combat? No. Yeah, no, this is the best option in my opinion. Telekinetic potency. Telekinetic throw throws multiple projectiles in a line, dealing damage to anything in their path. 50% damage increase for telekinetic throw. So instead of 1 throw with telekinetic throw, it does 3 throws. And telekinetic throw, it now has a cooldown of 6 seconds rather than no cooldown. Controlled engagement. Psychokinetic barrier gains the following effects: crit hit chance 100%. So that's what gives it the 100% crit hit chance. It also gets a 5-second reduction cooldown timer. Phoenix Force generated, you get 12.5 of the Phoenix Force generation increase while that psychokinetic barrier is active. So to the synergies for what's good and what's not. Cooldown for Angela's synergies are always really good to have. You don't need Ant-Man's Beast. You do not need Black Panther. You don't need movement speed will actually help. Black Widow's range damage helps. Blades helps a lot for attack speed and health. Don't need Captain America. Well, Captain America is actually nice, kind of, because deflect helps, but you don't need it. Captain Marvel, you don't need energy or hand-to-hand. Colossus, you don't. You can use this actually. Cyclops, you don't necessarily need his. Daredevil, you don't need the melee, but the 3% damage to normal and elites helps. Deadpool, you don't need explosive, but health regen helps. Doctor Strange, you do not need magic power damage. Gambits, I think, what was it again? Energy, I believe. Energy and intelligence. So Gambits would help you out for the energy bonus. Fire, Ghost Riders, I feel like he's the only one that would give you good, well, not the only one, but you know, it's whatever. You definitely want to have Ghost Riders for the 5% power damage. Hawkeye you want for the movement speed and crit damage. Hulk you want for the health, 6% health. Don't need Iceman. Iron Fist, health regen helps, but you don't need it. Iron Man, ranged power damage helps. Don't need the energy. Genes, obviously you want to have the ranged. You don't need the psychic power damage because you're not going to be doing psych. You're going to be doing all flame. You don't necessarily need kitty prides, loot cages. You don't necessarily need the durability of attribute. Always helps though. Magic, the health on hit helps, but you don't have any summons. Moon Knight, you don't necessarily need it. High risk, high reward type of deal with him. Nova, movement speed always helps. Dodge rating, you don't need dodge for her. Psylocke, you don't need the psychic power or melee power. But I mean, if you do want to use a psych build, you would definitely want to have Psylocke. Gun Punisher, the ranged power is good to have. Don't need the gun. Rocket, you don't need his summon. Scarlet Witch, you definitely want to have her damage over time increase because she's built around Scarlet's built around damage over time. She-Hulk would help for the health increase and health regen. Spider-Man, you don't necessarily need his dodge, but it helps. Squirrel Girl definitely helps with bosses. Star-Lord, the spirit helps, but not necessarily needed. Storm, none of that helps. Jean, Thor, none of that. Oh, the total defense helps, but that's about it. War Machine is always a good option. Gives you +10 to whatever resource you have and +1 fighting attribute. You don't need Wolverine's claw damage. The Reality Gem is what I put my points in for energy and potency. You can also what was it again? I think it was intelligence. I keep thinking, yeah, intelligence. You can either go intelligence or energy, but if you don't have 25 points, if you have under 25 points, I would go with either micro warps, gravity well, or I would just go with those two. One of those two, probably micro warps. So, yeah, for my gear, I do not have a legendary item for her. I think the one that does fire, whatever does fire damage, I don't remember what it's called, but you want to have that for Jean Grey for this specific build. Yeah, you definitely just want to have that one, in my opinion. For the Medallion, Pyro Medallion obviously is going to be the best choice for her because whenever you use a ranged attack, so if you use your skip rocks, whatever, the X button, your primary ability, that's a ranged ability. Your ranged attacks ignite enemies on fire for 95-82 physical damage over 3 seconds and take 10% extra damage from fire powers. So within those 3 seconds, your enemies will take 10% more extra damage from your fire abilities. Your catalyst, I don't have none of this is what I'd like to have. I mean, the signature is nice and all, but not what I would like to have. Cosmic bonus, whatever, from the Cosmic Spirit. 50% chance when you hit to gain. You don't really want to have that either. And in the green, for the only good thing I like about it is, well, I mean, all of those are good. The physical, mental, energy, and health on hit and health on kill. But the ones you want, so for in the green stats, you want to have, when you use a med kit, you gain 25% health and spirit back. For the cosmic traits, for the yellow, you want to have, when you use a med kit, you gain 50% of your max health as a shield. And for the purple one, you want to have, when you use a med kit, you gain 5,000 health back. Those would be the best ones to have for her, or for any character in general. That's the best catalyst to have. For her, I have complete Relic of Atlantis. Deflect is always a nice one to have for her. You don't necessarily need it, but either Relic of Gibram. I don't think you'd actually need the spirit though. Relic of Xander is definitely the best option for it if you're trying to put out more damage, but Relic of Atlantis and Relic of Subterranea are the two other really good defensive do you call it?
This reminds me of
Relics.
the infinite void of space.
So for her artifacts, I have 3 fire artifacts. I think 2 of them. No, just 1 of them. So this one, the modified advanced feather, Phoenix feather, it's well, it's not modified. Just pretend it's not modified because I modified it. The advanced Phoenix feather gives you energy, health regen, fire damage, and when you are defeated, you come back alive with full health and full spirit. And it's a 10-minute cooldown, and you get defense rating. The only thing that's not a good thing about this is in trials, when you die and you come back alive, it still counts as a loss. So that's not a good thing. But everything else is really good to have. But I have it modified, so that's why I also have this on as well, because I get 209 health and 200 damage rating and 50 spirit. You modify your artifacts from, I believe it's the science analyst, research, whatever, the science lady. Pyro's flamethrower. You get this artifact from Pyro. You get a 7.8%. Well, I think you get it from. Yeah, you can get it from Pyro. I don't know if you can get it from anyone else. 7.8% attack speed, that can change. You get energy, 1 to 3 energy, fire damage, 3% chance to create a barrier of flame around you for 5 seconds, causing 5888 energy damage to enemies when they attack you. 30-second cooldown. That's a really good one to have. Advanced flames of the faulting. I think you can just get this from any boss in the in patrol. So 355 damage rating versus weakened enemies. 315 damage rating to fire powers. 9% chance when you hit with a fire power, you weaken your foes for 10 seconds. It's a 15-second cooldown. When you use your med kit, gain 250 critical hit rating for 12 seconds. So these 3 are really good, especially since they're all fire-based artifacts. For my stats, my attributes are not too great except for my energy. My energy is actually really good, or at a good spot. 35,429 average health, 43% damage reduction. It's a good spot, especially the damage reduction. My offensive stats, I'm at 17.7% attack speed. My crit hit is extremely low. If you're in full purple gear, you can definitely hit this amount of critical hit damage and that brutal strike. You can technically hit all these stats: the critical hit, the brutal strike, critical damage, and brutal damage. I'm at 1014 critical hit rating, 3089 critical damage rating, 1408 brutal strike rating, and 2604 brutal damage rating. So you can definitely hit every single one of those stats that I have on here with just full purple gear that are spec'd into critical damage and critical strike and brutal damage and brutal strike. So yeah, I will do a small little showcase of each ability and how they work. So this is the Maelstrom, whatever, AoE. So you can drop down 2 of them. That's the square button. You have the throwing ability. I don't remember what it's called, but it's triangle. Shoots 3 phoenixes out, which does a nice damage. Then you have your pyrokinetic barrier. Does AoE and it puts a shield on you for 3 seconds, absorbing 1600 damage, I believe. Then you have your signature, which is the crushing debris. Then you have I completely forgot what this one's called, but it's not a signature. It's like a signature, but it's an AoE. It does a nice AoE. And let me just build. You have your primary ability. I'm just building up my whatever it's called for my Dark Phoenix. So you have Dark Phoenix right here, and then signature, and then you have this one as well. You run around doing this, drop your AoE, keep going around, throw, and then barrier, You just AoE again until whatever. And your dashing ability also does
I can't do that.
fire damage as well. And yeah, that's all for Jean Grey. If you liked the video, if it helped you out at all, just let me know. Comment, like, or message me. Doesn't matter. And yeah, peace. Have a nice night or nice day, whatever. See ya.